This is Rye House, a circuit where some of Britain's biggest F1 stars began their careers, Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button included. And today, we're about to witness some of Britain's next F1 stars. This is the 2014 London Cup.
We've been able to get about 170 drivers down here. People have been signing up for the last couple of months, and if we didn't have the restriction of 28 on track, it would probably mean that we could get a whole lot more on. So as we go into next year's event, we look to bring this back to a 3-day event, so everyone can have a great time. It's one of the most historic tracks there is. The track goes back to the early 60s, and it's pretty much acknowledged as being one of the most challenging tracks there is. You could describe it as being tight and twisty, and the difference between getting it right and being slightly off the perfect lap is probably you're down to the inches rather than the feet. This is kind of where Lewis Hamilton was started. David Coulthard describes this as the Silverstone of karting, so it's a great track.
Hi, my name's Paul McNeely. I basically run a team called Fox Motorsport. We compete in the British GT Championships in a Ginetta G55. The car runs in GT4 class. We've got quite a good relationship with Ginetta, so we sort of spoke and said we'd like to offer some prizes up for some of the runners and some of the races today. The Junior, Rotax and Minimax winners will get a scholarship entry into Ginetta Juniors for next year. And one of the senior classes will get to test in a GT5 Ginetta. They like to nurture the children through from karts up into GTs, and the scholarship's a great way to get people on that ladder.
And on the scholarship itself, what does that involve?
Basically, it's like a shootout. They get the top drivers together from a lot of other kart circuits, and then they just train them. They have a lot of judges that look at their driving, and then they make their decision on who progresses into that scholarship.
Rye House is a compact but very challenging circuit. Earlier, we caught up with some of the locals here to talk us through some tips and advice on how you get that extra 100th.
Seems like ages ago that we come into it for the first time, but when you think about it, it was only about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I hadn't even had my first race yet, and it's just crazy. It wasn't even that long ago, like you said. I remember the first time we went here, you were telling me through this corner you need to keep your foot flat on the throttle to get the best run through here and to use the most speeds. But at the time I found it so daunting, but now it just feels so natural.
I mean, you now understand that as you come into the corner, you've got to stay nice and tight to the curve and then just gently drifting out. I mean, obviously, as a senior, we've got more grip and more weight to use to get around the corner. As a junior, not quite got the grip or the power to then get off the corner that we have. Just remember, like the start of the race, it's obviously very busy. Try not to drift out too much, otherwise you might lose a few places. But in the race, you want to be coming out nice and wide, aiming for a nice late apex and stuff. Because I always find that if you come in too tight, you're then really wide on the way out.
I always find getting the perfect line through here means you're able to straight line it straight to the next apex, giving you the best line through here and making sure most of the kart is over this curve.
Okay, so obviously as we come into here as a senior, we've got more speed because the power difference and the grip difference through stadium has allowed us to carry more speed into here. The principles are still the same with both karts. As you come in, you want to get the kart slowed down nicely, but nice and late, so that whole loading process of the kart just happens so naturally, and you'll find that the karts that are doing it right, they lift the rear wheel and just almost ping off the corners, whereas the drivers who've got it wrong and have braked too late come in sideways and all sorts.
And here, because it's such a key overtaking opportunity, getting that hit of the brakes nice and sweet is good, because then you can use that momentum to get alongside them and force your way into the corner. And then you want to run all the way out here. Yeah. Quite a bit of a difference between seniors and juniors through here, because the seniors get a really good exit out of hairpin 2 because they're just going so much faster out of there because of the more grunt from the engine and the more grip from the tyres. So it's a bit different through here because you can apply more speed into here, but the principle's still the same, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. The key to it, as always, is to be so committed over the curve to get the cart loaded up, ready for the right. Because obviously, as you come over the left-hand curve, left-hand side wheels will lift, and then as they come back down, you find that the weight transfer to the left-hand side really does help you get around the right. I mean, obviously the exit here is so important because it lines you up ready for the straight and the run into stadium. So.
And you want to, when you're coming out here, you want to make sure you stay on the track because if you go off a little bit, you can find the back slots come out a bit because it's a bit slippery.
Yeah, and it's quite bumpy out there.
This has got all the rubber over it, so it's really nice and grippy through here.
Okay, Luke, can you tell us about your involvement this weekend?
Basically, I help young drivers in the Zip All-Stars. So I'm here today sort of trying to drive a coach. Also do a lot of setup work for all the drivers and basically run the Zip All-Stars team.
And how many teams have you got racing this weekend?
We have nine drivers. So yeah, busy weekend for us.
So what sort of training do you give to youngsters? What information and advice are you giving them?
A lot of it is more intense driving. You know, most of the time is through the driver. You find a little bit of time and setup. So I'm more just what the driver's doing, what he's thinking, his approach into corners. So a lot of things like that, really.
And this year is a very special year for Zip. Can you give us more information about that?
Yeah, 50th anniversary. So it's really nice to run the London Cup for the 50th anniversary. So been here a long time. Obviously, some years ago, my father owned this circuit, and we run the World Championships some years ago. So we've got a lot of history from here. Even I remember when I was sort of 12, 13 years old, mucking about with Lewis Hamilton and testing with him over the days. So yeah, it's nice to be back here.
So the scene is set for what should be some fiercely contested racing here at Rye House. Make sure you rejoin us after the break for the first race of the 2014 London Cup.